You're Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, also pro-bricky exclusive channel for the tradies. We've got a channel for the theological people, for the tradies, for everyone wants to join in against the war against evil. Evil sucks, we get all the muck. There are a lot of people, the majority, who are in communities and they're covert and they don't like people who are happy. A lot of these people are covert, morphing into overt if you hang around long enough. Narcissists, they have a tremendous hatred for those who have been disciplined in life relative to getting somewhere in life. They have a tremendous conceitedness towards people that know how to love properly and have the stability and heart and mind to do that without drugs, without alcohol, without medication. These covert narcissists, passive aggressive, and can also morph into active aggressive, overt narcissists, are often the golden child. They can be the scapegoat. Whatever the reason is, they're grandised, they're prideful, they often live in denial of themselves, they don't have an answer for themselves, they don't know how to deal with themselves, they drug up, they drink up, they pop the pills, they live in a victim martyr mentality, which means they're enthroned. Psychologically, they have themselves enthroned, but in their schizophrenia, they also play the role of a peasant victim. So on the one hand, they're enthroned as royalty and want to be treated that way, but that royalty is relative to being a peasant, sick victim, like a leper. They're divisive, they're cunning. They know who they want to target and how they're going to carry it out. They have no respect for the older people or older generations. They have no respect for themselves. They prey on their parents and make their parents become corrupted into their slave trade mentality. The parent actually becomes a slave trader to the children. And in the single mother dimension of the communities now, these single mothers are handing over the authority of the house to these degenerated children who haven't been raised properly, who are medicated, take alcohol, dope, and any other recreational drug that suits them at the time. These young people have been given the authority and direction of the house, while the single mother becomes servitude to the whims and needs of these adult children, male children. These males are loose in the community. They don't know how to have a proper relationship. They don't know how to look after themselves. A lot of them get in trouble with the police, end up in jail for rape, harassment of women, and this comes out of the way in which the single mother has set them up in the house to be able to harass and bully and order her around, which she's happy to do. She runs around serving them, cooking for them, idolizing them, and completely corrupting their mindset towards themselves and making them into monsters and bastards that can't care about anybody beyond themselves, because the focus of everything around them is about them. They have people walking on eggshells, fearing that they might commit suicide, and they hold this as a means of motivation for the people that they want to chase after them. They have relationships, start their relationships and fall into the king and you're my servant mentality toward their partner and lose their partners, and then hold grudges towards the partners, whinging and whining about them because they were not going to comply with the role of a pawn, similar to that of a pawn on a chessboard. People just won't tolerate it. The single mothers are doomed to be on their own, or if not, in a severely dysfunctional relationship, of which she will condition the partner to play a role of convenience for her. Her primary connection will be in the emotional incest, the enmeshment with her child husband. Her psychological mindset will be, I'm his wife. She'll be the fantasy wife of the adult child. And the partner will just be somebody that comes along like a milkman, as it were, offers sex and some company, and then goes back out again as if nothing happened. While the single mother continues on with her emotional incestual, he's my little king husband and I'm his wife servant lifestyle as the primary part of their life. These people are conscious about the way in which they enforce the conditioning on their victims. Unfortunately, a lot of the time people will be conditioned, but only to wake up via the absence of an emotional connection. People sense these things. These emotional incestual families have no idea that people notice what they're doing and sense what they're doing and want to be away from it. They just keep going until the person leaves. They self-prophesy within themselves, this person won't stay. So in a lot of cases, when they've had enough or they've got their fill, they will set things up to cause a reverse discard. They'll drive the person to the point where the person just goes, I'm sorry, I can't see you anymore. And they get well practiced at it. They know exactly what to do. They do it without conscience. They return then to the throne room, the domestic home, as it were, belingered. The world, look what the world has done to me this time, although they've brought it on themselves. And this plays into their victim, martyr, oh poor pity me, destructive mentality. They are brought back into the home where they all lick each other's wounds and keep up the supply of the drugs and alcohol and medications, only becoming sicker, older, more immature, more exposed. People become more aware of the way in which these people are, the dysfunction in which they live, whilst they remain completely unaware of the fact that people can see a mile away of how troubled they really are. By the time they're 30, 40, 50, 60, life has slipped through most of their fingers. Their choice of life was to pursue their habits and cravings. They're in debt. They're usually estranged mentally between each other, with derision in the house and a terrible sense of failure and humiliation as they realize with all the knowledge that's out there today, they still couldn't manage to create a life for themselves that had any meaning or reflected anything of any value. And their slavery to their habits betrays them in the end. They become seriously physically full of ailments, mental illnesses from the drugs just pounding at their minds. And their delusion becomes real as the sicknesses close in. They take no accountability. They have no responsibility when it comes to themselves and what really should have been. And they'll blame everybody else around them, particularly their partners. If you get involved with these people, you will end up on the end of a smear campaign. That's just how they've got to justify themselves as the martyr in the relationship. I did everything I could. I tried everything I could, but this person wouldn't. And their minions and gremlins soon get tired of listening to their poor pity me stories. So they just drug up more, back to the drugs, till their health fails. Everybody's had enough of them, and they die with no glory, with dishonor, usually on their own. Galatians 5:1. It is for freedom that Christ has set you free. Stand firm then, and do not be encumbered once more by a yoke of slavery. Take notice, I, Paul, tell you that if you yourselves be circumcised, Christ will be of no value to you at all. And again I testify to every person who gets themselves, or every man who gets himself circumcised, that he is obligated to obey the whole law. You who are trying to be justified by law have been severed from Christ. You have fallen away from grace. And let me remind you that the easiest definition of the law is anything you think you need to do or not do to make God happy or stop him from being sad defines the law. I'm going to say that again. Anything you think you need to do or not do to make God happy or stop him from being sad defines the law, because you can only approach God by faith in the finished work of the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, the best way to dodge narcissists, overt and covert, is to give yourself time at the beginning, of course, and have eyes like a hawk. Work out what they're like with their children, their parents, and whatever you can find out about past relationships. Find all that out. Then approach your relationship not with the objective of the things you think you need to do or not do to keep that person happy or stop them from being sad, but approach it by faith in the relationship, so that each person has to make a faithful contribution as they go along by faith. Faith only works through love. Faith only works through love. Making a fair and decent contributions to the relationship by faith on a daily basis. When we come to a point where we're trying to run the relationship by works, we are then, and this is where a lot of people have gone wrong and can't understand why things go narcissistic or wrong, you are then invigorating the sinful nature inside your partner, because it instigates pride. When you approach your partner with the idea of, anything I do or not do to make them happy and stop them from being sad will produce a positive result, the only positive result that's going to produce is the activation and arousal of their sinful nature and possibly their narcissism. And it's only going to end up in a post-traumatic stress disorder or narcissistic injury upon yourself, consequential to the way these people are going to covertly treat you. Faith only works through love. Our relationships only work through love. Never approach the relationship on the terms of, if I do or don't do this to make my partner happy or stop them from being sad, it will produce a positive result, because it won't. And neither will it for God. You approach God by faith in Christ, and you approach your relationship by faith in the relationship. If this message resounds with you, do press like or share. You can share all my material, I do not care, to get the word out to help people across the world. My contact details are, if you want to contact me, and you will pay, are in the description below, if I can help you. And this is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, Gosford, the Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me. Let's beat these deceptive people who haven't done the work for themselves, that are not only messing their lives up but other people's lives up. Let's educate ourselves and protect ourselves from these damaging, lazy, self-centered, grandised sinners. Bye for now.